Hello, hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar with Pran Foundation. Not all talk, real people, real stories. Hi, my name is Aliza, and I'm a counselor with Pran. And like a biblical reference to the importance of self care, we always go back and we talk about the importance of self care, the first calling in our everyday lives. Last week we did see Mr. Hitesh Tuteja, who spoke about self care, its importance, and how we can use simple tips and tricks to make self care a part of our everyday routine. Today, we're very happy to have with us our own volunteers, are very close to the program first responders who are going to be speaking with us about self-care, how they practice it in their everyday life, how they practice it in their professional life, and how they practice it as first responders with Pran. Before we begin, I would just like to say that when we do our emotional first aid response training, we do give a lot of importance to self care because, as an organization, we understand the importance of self care in our daily routine. And we always preach self care because we do not see even one day go past by without looking after yourselves. So, now to start off with, I would request our first responders to introduce themselves to our audience, and we'll begin with Prajwal. So, Prajwal, why don't you go ahead and please introduce yourselves to our audience?
Hello everyone, I'm Priyadarshi Prajwal. In my professional capacity, I am a final year medical student. I'm also a first responder with Plant Foundation.
Thank you so much, Prajwal. Happy to have you with us. Can we now have Namrata introducing herself?
Hi everyone, this is Namrita, and in my professional capacity, I'm an advocate, counselor, as well as a child rights activist, and I am also associated with Pran Foundation as a first responder.
Thank you so much, Namrata. Uha, can you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, everyone. I'm a student of nutrition currently, and I'm also associated with the Pran Foundation as a first responder.
Thank you, Uha. Nupur.
Hello everyone, I'm Nupur. I am a content writer and I run a website called Vibrant Living, which is based on mental health and everyday well-being. I'm also first responder with Brown. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Nupur. It's actually so great to see each one of you because we do see, that in your professional capacities, you guys are doing so much. Also, we do know that, in your personal capacities, you do have families, you're like living, and, you, of course, like even in our personal capacities, we do have to contribute so much. In addition to that, you recognize the importance of mental health, and, you've become warriors of mental health, advocates of mental health, and I really, really want to salute you guys for the real good work that you guys are doing out there in the world. So, coming to the topic for today, self care. So, let's start with speaking about self care. So, maybe maybe a sentence or a phrase, if you guys could tell me what self care means to you, because I know that we keep talking about it all the time in our training, we keep talking about it every time we meet you guys in a huddle, but it would be really great to know from you guys what you guys think about it. So, Nupur, would you want to go first?
Yeah, surely. So, self care to me, simply put, is my much needed me time. And to say it's a mindful practice which is supposed to be nurturing, it should be nourishing to optimize your overall well-being. So uh, could be positive affirmations throughout the day, could be a 5 minute meditation uh, on a work day, so finding these small spaces which give you a reason to pause, to breathe, to reflect, and to really set you straight uh, on your journey to having that mental peace and that safe space.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Nupur. Uh, so, the me time, okay, which is essentially very, very important in today's world because we're surrounded by people, we're surrounded by work, and now that we're working from home, there is no break, okay? It's not like, hey, I'm going to go home and I'm going to relax. But, to be able to find this me time in every day is essentially important not only for today, but for the longest time in the future. So thank you for giving us the idea to pause, breathe, and reflect, Nupur. That was really great. Um, Uha, can we like listen from you what self care means to you?
Yes, to me, self care is sort of like proof of self love, because often you can say, I love myself, but then you may not feel it. So I think these small self care acts are proof to your whole body, to your whole being, that you love yourself. Yeah.
So I think you've brought in the angle of self love and proving to yourselves what self love is. This always brings me back to this analogy, or rather, an example of, most of us say that we want to be happy, but we don't do things to be happy. So I think self care and self love comes in the same place, that I want to love myself, but when I'm practicing self care, that's when I'm actually proving to my own self that, hey, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. May the world not take care of you. And I think that's a really, really brilliant way of putting it. Thank you, Uha. So going on to Namrata. Namrata, what is self care for you?
Self care for me is also, again, just like Uwa said, it's a radical act of loving my own self and nourishing the body, mind, and soul. Self care does not, for me, means that I am being selfish if I am taking care of myself. Because, I'm a married woman, and generally we have responsibilities as well towards the family. So, in a way, we also tend to kind of start neglecting ourselves.
Right.
So, self care is very important for everybody, even for married women, because unless and until they are themselves strong, how are they gonna, withstand whatever the life throws at them? So that's why it's very important to have a self care practice and a self care regimen, and it's not being selfish.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Namrata. And I think I parallel with you on, the married front, because I am also recently married. And so there are a lot of responsibilities that a woman has to shoulder. May that be because of the society, may that be because of family expectations, or may that just be because of our own upbringing that, hey, you have to do these things. And at no point in a given time should that be looked upon as a selfish act, because like you rightly said, if I'm not going to take care of myself, how am I going to take care of others? So I think I time and again bring this analogy whenever we speak about self-care, and I also like always speak about it in our trainings and our huddles, that when we go in the airplane, and I also think I spoke about it in the last webinar, that when we go in the airplane and the flight attendants have their announcements in the beginning, they're always speaking about covering your own face with a mask in case of the oxygen goes low in the cabin before helping somebody else. So I think nourishing yourself is going to give you the energy to nourish others. And it's not only body, but I think, like Namrata said, it's body, mind, and soul, and everything. So I'm sure that it's as important, and actually much more important than we keep speaking about it. So thank you, Namrata. Moving to Prajwal. Prajwal, what would self care mean for you?
Self care, in my opinion, is basically activities and ways to take care of your own needs in all the aspects, whether physical, psychological, emotional, social, and in order to establish harmony with your body and mind, to avoid burnout, and to create self awareness. Essentially, it means comprehending and listening to your emotions and thoughts and executing them to our own benefit.
Great. Thank you so much, Prajwal. I'm sure, as a medical student, you do understand the ease with which, a person in an Indian setup studying medicine could actually reach burnout. And good you brought this up, because most of the people actually are even unable to identify the signs of a burnout. So, when you speak about it, it actually looks like a thing that's way off, but you never know as a person when you're going to reach it. So, self care regime is very important to not reach burnout. So, since you've answered this question and you've brought us to this point, Prajwal, my first question is actually going to be to you. So, like I was just saying, you're a final year medical student, and even when we like speak with you in our huddles, or we read your reports, we definitely see that you do not step back in taking high risk cases. So, what methods of self care do you employ while handling such high risk cases, especially when it's overwhelming with your own practices?
I would like to begin by saying stresses and burnouts are real. Almost every one of us in our daily lives at one or some point of time experience them. I have been trying to educate myself about mental health by trying to interact with a variety of people in the past couple of years. Taking example of past 1 month, I had interacted with some emotionally drained people. One was with a person who was having suicidal thoughts. One was with a fellow friend of mine who just lost a close family member. One was with a person who just had a bad relationship. And even me, I was having my exams, finally, a medical exams
Yes.
in just 1 month, next 1 month of time. So I was with them all throughout to the best of my capabilities, listening them and trying to follow up on them till the time they feel better. So it's quite easy for me to get emotionally drained, as amongst all these, even I have my stressors. So first of all, we have to understand the fact that we as humans are bound to have emotions, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So we will have good days, we will have bad days. That's where the role of self-care comes in. Self-care, in my opinion, is anything which gives peace to your body and mind without affecting the peace of others.
That's true.
So for me, I love writing stories and poems. Basically, it's a way to pen down my thoughts and emotions when they get high. And I even love cooking and experimenting new dishes. And I love as exercise. It's the scientifically proven way of enhancing your spirit and flesh. Even during study breaks or during night time, I play songs on my speaker while dimming the lights of my bedroom, or sometimes call a friend to go out on walk or something. So, as I said in the beginning, self care hasn't got any particular specific rigid definition. It's very volatile. Anything which calms you down, anything which relaxes you, anything which de-stresses you, anything which keeps you your peace, anything which makes you feel better, everything is self-care. And trust me, it's the most important fuel to drive our soul and to avoid burnout. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you so much, Prajwal, for bringing that together for us. I mean, you've actually listed quite a few things that you do in your everyday, and it's really brilliant to know, that you practice at least one form of it in one form or the other every day. And like you said, people burnout is real. It happens to a lot of people, and we have to recognize it. So thank you so much for shedding light on how you take care of yourself, especially in overwhelming times or in overwhelming cases. Thank you. My next question is going to be to Uha. Uha, when you've spoken with individuals in emotional distress in the past, have you ever recommended self care? And if you have recommended self care, what has the result been for these people?
Yes, I have recommended self care. So, a lot of people that come to me to talk to me as a first responder are my friends, and we often do talk about self care. And I would like to say that, first of all, everybody who is in emotional distress, who is coming to talk to us as a first responder, or to anyone, in fact, to their friends or family, that is an act of self care in itself. And so, I would like to applaud them, first of all, to be able to open up to us. And so, to all my friends who opened up to me, so I applaud them as well. Coming to self care, something that seemed to help a friend, which helped me for the past 2 years, is deep breathing when I was feeling anxious. So I've done this for 2 years now, and I've seen a dramatic change in how I've felt during moments of anxiety. So I've recommended this to a friend who was feeling anxious very often, and they said that that is something that helped them the most in whatever I've recommended. So these are really small things that we can do, which really make a huge difference in the long run. And something else that has helped one of my other friends was being in the moment. This is also something that I stand by. And we often tend to drift towards the future or towards the past. And so it's important to be in the present moment. And I think that's where breathing also helps. It brings you to your body. It brings you to the present moment. So these are some things that help my friends, which I've recommended. And I would say that most of the people that I've talked to told me that talking itself was helping the most, that they didn't need any advice. that they just had to open up and talk about their emotions. And every time I talk to somebody, in the end, they say, "Oh, I feel so good talking about my emotions." So that is something that, as a first responder, to be able to give that safe space to other people to open up about their emotions, we are aiding in their self care journey. So I'm really thankful to Pran for that. And so this is what I've witnessed. And in my opinion, self care is very simple. But what's difficult is to really figure out what works for you, because we often see on self care posters or on Instagram that self care is this. You can do this. For example, you can see that on a self care poster, you might have massage, but when it comes to you, you may not like massage, and what you need maybe just to sleep more or to be more mindful or to eat healthier. So that is the most difficult part, in my opinion, to figure out what you really want, to figure out what self care means to you. But when you do figure it out, self care is extremely simple. In my experience, that is what I have experienced. And small things do make a huge difference. For me, for the last 2 years, I've had anxiety, and I have done a lot of breathing exercises. I do it every day, and breathing has helped extremely. It's a small thing, it takes about 5 minutes every day, but over the last 2 years, it has helped me a lot, and the frequency of my anxiety has reduced, the intensity has reduced. So these are really small things that we can do at least 5 or 10 minutes a day that will help us.
Right. Thank you so much, Uha, for actually bringing it forward. You've actually said quite a few things that I would really like want to bring out, and I would like to appreciate. I think the first thing that you spoke about was, giving people the space to speak out. I think that's exactly the intent that we've had when we created the emotional first aid response program. That, maybe as counselors, or maybe, as mental health professionals, it's very, very difficult for us to go out to each person. And that's where we thought we should create, mental health warriors. And you guys stepped in, and you guys, have taken the charge of, just listening. Like, I think we were also discussing last month, when we did work from home individuals in distress. I mean, we spoke about the power of just listening, because most of the people do not have an ear for, j- they want to speak out a lot of things. And I think most of this year we've all been together at home, but the question that rises again is, how many of us have sat down at night to just listen to how the other person's day was? And I think that's where each one of you steps in as a first responder. And we're very happy that you guys actually chose to step in and, be a part of this journey. So I think that was one thing I wanted to bring out from what you said. Another important thing that you spoke about was mindfulness, or, breathing, or just being in the present moment. I think that was a continuous thing that you spoke about through all the different self-care activities you shared. Last week when we were speaking with Mr. Hitesh Tuteja, he spoke about the fact of mindfulness, but he brought it out in the form of a question, that jab aap बैठते हो, when you're sitting, just ask yourselves कि in the present moment, as in right now, मुझे what are my problems, मेरी क्या तकलीफ़ें हैं, right? And for most of us, surprisingly so, the answer is going to be nothing. Okay, so when we're in the present moment, our worries are either about the past or they're about the future. And when we stop doing this, like, yeah, of course, like he said, that we need to sit, we need to plan, but giving ourselves 10 minutes a day is mostly enough. So I think that's one thing, that mindfulness as a key practice. And the third thing is consistency. You spoke about how for the last 2 years it's a simple act, but you've done it every day. Okay, and this every day really, really counts. So thank you, Uha, for bringing out such, important yet simple points for everybody who's listening to us. Thank you. Moving on to Namrata. So, Namrata, our question for you is that you're an advocate, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a daughter in law, and you also deal with women who have been abused, and other sensitive cases in your professional life. We would want to ask you that, apart from all this, you also manage to deliver perfectly as a first responder at Pran. So, what methods do you employ in your personal and professional life when you get stressed and you cannot take it anymore?
Okay, talking about myself and about my lifestyle and kind of many hats that I play, being only one individual and playing a lot of other roles as well, giving justice to all my roles. I have done a conscious. I have taken a conscious effort that has helped me to heal from my work related stress and burnouts, and I have also overcome my sleeping like difficulties. I was on the verge of getting sleep apnea because I couldn't just say no, and so I had to take a conscious step of practicing mindfulness meditation, and I do this thing first thing in the morning, and it just gives you deep rest. So the deeper we are able to rest, the more dynamic we'll be in our lives. That's why I practice mindfulness meditation, and it is actually doing wonders for me. And the next thing that I do uh, on my typical weekdays is that I prepare a to-do list, and that is actually a savior, I must say, because it helps me to prioritize my work and stay focused. Because I am a family law expert, and there are women who are victims of domestic violence. They come to me, women victims of sexual violence, as well as acid attack survivors. They come to me for their help, and there are some young couples also. They come to me for premarital counseling, and some senior citizens also come to me when they want to seek help, from the kind of behavior that their children are showing towards them. So all these things can be very stressful when you are dealing with all of them, uh, but that's why it's very important to have and to maintain a schedule and time management. And I have evolved as a person after following it, because earlier this used to keep myself on my toes. And today Pran Foundation has given me an opportunity to talk to all of you. So I want to share something about my vulnerable this personality trait as well, that I'm an empath. So all of you must be aware that for people like us, it's natural that we feel people. We kind of get connected to what other people are going through, and so it's easy for us to step into their shoes and to easily understand what they might have, why they have behaved in a particular way. And all this can be at times overwhelming. So, for my own betterment, I've started practicing calmness, and I have deliberately maintained and started creating boundaries so that I don't spread myself too thin. That will have a repercussion on my health, specifically my sleep. And I have developed a support system, because I feel that I don't want to wear a cape of a superwoman, and I am not ashamed to seek help and support from my family members, from my mother-in-law. And there is no harm today, to stay with your family. I shifted base from Mumbai to a place like Agra just because my in-laws were there in Agra, and after we had planned a family. So I didn't want a nanny for my child, but I wanted my child to have all values, and that a child can connect really well and bond very strong with the grandparents. So it was a conscious effort to move also for the sake of the family. But today I think I have whatever I am, in my capacity, in my legal capacity, I have earned a lot of fame and lot of name for my work, and it is all because of the support system, my family, and they had been my pillar of strength. So on my weekends, I make a conscious effort to invest my time, and that kind of is self care for me. When I watch interesting movies with my child, with my husband, and I just like Priyadarshi said that he likes cooking. Even I like to cook and experiment with food with my mother-in-law, and so I have developed common hobbies that can strengthen our bond. In fact, in this pandemic, my son, I gave him the chance to become my fitness instructor. So this way, on one hand, I took care of my physical fitness, but also on the other hand, engaged my child in physical activity that he was missing out due to the pandemic. And one another practice that will give everybody peace of mind is keep on doing some random act of kindness. The kind of smile that you give to the people who really need your help, will be the best. What do I say? It will be a best celebration of our purpose of life. So I have always believed that taking breaks, conscious breaks, taking afternoon power breaks, and practicing breathing exercises, practicing mindfulness meditations, and all that you enjoy, whatever nourish your body, mind, and soul, is not self-indulgence. It is but an act of survival.
So I think I really, really beautifully like how you summed up the entire thing, that it is an act of survival, all right. And also, I think one of us previously spoke about how, I think it was Uha who spoke about how to each its own, okay. You need to find your place, and you need to find not one but many activities that can, help you knit your entire survival together. And when you were speaking, Namrata, we could actually feel the empath you are, because the passion with which you speak and carry out every single work, it's evident not only in your words, but and also the things you do. While doing all of this, and while maintaining so many hats or wearing so many capes every day, maybe not of a superwoman, but of everything that you do, um, having self care and making sure that you use self care is essentially very important. You are also a clear example of how self care practices can be adapted at any time in life. Okay, you might be as young as say 3 years to 5 years, and you might be as old as maybe 60, 62 years, because I also remember that in one of the huddles you spoke about how your mother-in-law is now learning new practices to take care of selves, to be more engaged. And I think that's brilliant. So your story or whatever your journey itself is a beautiful example of how self-care can be knit into our lives as an everyday practice. So thank you for sharing that with us, Namrita. Now, for the person who's very patiently been waiting with us, Nupur, thank you so much for waiting your turn. So, since you just shared with us, you're a content writer and you do reach out to a wider audience on social media with Vibrant Living. So, what would you say are the common mistakes or the misconceptions that people do have with regards to self care?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because social media is playing such an important and a big part of all our lives. So to say, each one of you all have really beautifully summarized it for me, and to address the common misconceptions, one of them is that self-care, people confuse self-care as extravagancy, something that you really have to spend a lot of money on, or and to live these experiences. So something that is not rewarding is not self-care. Self-care is simply put, living life in moderation, which is mindfully making that conscious effort to finding your safe space and your me time. And if it's not rewarding, if it's burning a hole in your pocket, that is going to create a certain level of stress, a certain level of anxiety, and that is not fulfilling at all. So, really investing in fulfilling experiences is something one should look forward to. Another misconception is that self care is the same for everybody. As Uha mentioned as well, that there's no set standard or a rule or a list of ways in which you have to really indulge in self care. It is what works best for you. It is like to each their own. And there will be people who will try and understand that. So, leading on to the third misconception, that self care is uh, often misconceptualized as being selfish, which again Namrata mentioned. So really creating these healthy boundaries is what self-care is. When you have the right people around you, they are going to really value you for prioritizing yourself, for really taking time out and investing in yourself and making these conscious decisions day in and day out to really have that better mental health. And that is so undervalued by a lot of people because that could be taken as being toxic, or it could be taken as being ignorant and not really valuing the relationships around them. But at that time, what they need is themselves, and to really bank on themselves, to really find that safe spot for themselves is very important. So self-care is all about creating healthy boundaries. It's about compartmentalizing your day, creating a schedule so you're in control of, which is something I really followed through my days as well, and it has really helped me as well. So to say that it's that really sweet spot between your work life and your personal life. So if you can strike that balance in anything actually in life is something that you can really feel nourishing about, and it can really benefit you for the longer term. So a lot of people, they Netflix and chill for hours. They'd sleep on for hours just to get rid of anything at the moment that is bothering them, and they would stress eat and things that are really negative in the long term. For the moment, it could mean that you are enjoying the food or the tubs of ice cream that you're eating, but later on you're going to regret it. And if you've had that feelings of self doubt of or bouts of regrets or any kind of complaining that oh, my head is aching and my back is aching because I was Netflixing and chilling for hours, so then that does not justify and it does not satisfy the purpose. So the purpose is to really encourage oneself to make these mindful practices a habit, so that they get converted into a long term of self love, of really nourishing yourself, and to really have those people around you that can benefit you in ways which help you prioritize yourself. So these are some of the common misconceptions that I feel that people mistake as self-care.
Thank you so much, Nupur. You've actually summarized it in such a beautiful way that I don't think I have to add on to anything that you've said. And I think you've actually put it together and, in such a strategically mapped out way. Like it shows that, you write and, it's very like symbolic of what you do in your professional life. So thank you so much, Nupur, for putting that for us, together. And so beautifully, and with such simple examples that everybody can relate to and are relevant to everybody. So thank you, Nupur, for sharing that with us. Coming to our last question for the evening. So just like you guys, we do have about more than 150 other first responders in our program, and we've intaken some just yesterday in our new training batch. So what would and each one of them is helping in their own personal capacity. Uh, Everybody that we know, and we of course, like we personally know the journey of every single first responder with us. We do see that they do also go beyond the calling of the hour to help people. So what would your message be to your fellow first responders in the aspect of self-care being the first calling? Just a statement, just a few words, and I'll start with Prajwal again.
Normal. I think the first word we should put in our mind is normal. It's normal to feel exhausted. It's normal to feel drained. It's normal to have emotions. It's normal to cry. And it's normal to take breaks. Work not just for your personal and professional life, but work for your own calling, for your own emotions, and for your own thoughts. And that kind of work is actually self care. People usually say that they have to work very hard, they have to constantly be dissatisfied with their works to get ahead in life. I always say to people that it's okay to have dissatisfaction. It's always good to have dissatisfaction, but make sure that dissatisfaction is satisfactory to your own mind and body. That is essential. Take out some time for yourself, indulge in some hobbies, meditate, and at the end, I would like to say that even machines require maintenance. So we as humans require self-servicing in the form of self-care. So just breathe, relax, and give priority to yourself.
Thank you so much, Prajmal. That was actually so beautifully said. Thank you. Uha, what would be your message to your fellow first responders?
I agree with Prajwal on this. Normal, that's exactly what it is. It's normal to have stressful situations around you, but it does not have to be normal to be stressed yourself. So, self care is a way to be more stress free. And to all the first responders, I am also an empath, just like Namrata, and I think a lot of first responders could also be empaths. we often want to help other people, but we also take on other people's emotions onto ourselves. And when you talk to somebody and they talk to you about their emotions, you feel things. So it's important for first responders to take their own time and to talk to another first responder or someone they can talk to about their emotions. And boundaries are something that is extremely important as well. So for me, boundaries are very important, and without boundaries, I don't think I would be able to do all the things that I do every day. And something I would like to talk about is one of my nieces. She is also an empath, clearly an empath, and she feels a lot. And it's for me, respecting her boundaries is also a practice. And sometimes when I have, like, even to go close to her and to hug her, I have to ask her for permission. And this is something that's very important. And I think even to all the kids, this is something important that we have to teach.
Brilliant. I think, Uha, thank you so much for putting it out for us that, being an empath is a very, very brilliant thing. But being able to detach when you need to, when you're getting sucked into it, I think that is also what is essentially very important. So thank you for that, Uha. Moving on to Namrata. Namrata, what would your message be for your fellow first responders?
My message would be, first of all, yeah, my message would be, first of all, you guys, all first responders, hats off to you. You are true warriors of mental health. We really need, in India needs, mental health is gonna be a problem of the decade now, and it's high time we take proactive steps. And it's so good that all of us are together as a community, as a network of like-minded people. And I'm just so grateful that we are all associated with Pran Foundation, because they've done a really good job of bringing all of us together. Now, I just want to say one thing, my dear friends, life is not a competition. Okay, so just relax, just chill out, just breathe. And it's very important for your own what do I say, overall well-being. Because believe me, I have practiced it, and I have given priority to myself. And what I'm not comparing myself again, I'm not getting competitive now, but I see my colleagues, I see people of my age, what they are going and what they are doing in their career, and how I have, carved a niche by giving more importance to self care and taking what my body is saying, listening to it, and also not shying away from seeking help. So, whenever it's necessary for you guys, all of us, none of us are God. Okay, so we should not behave also like God, that we know everything and we are omnipotent, and nothing can affect us. We are human beings after all at the end of the day, and even we have our burnouts and our stress. So I just want to say one thing, that relax and give so much importance to self care. YOLO, I believe in that. You only live once, but at least live, just don't exist.
Thank you so much, Namrata, for putting that together for us. I mean, I really love how you started off. Like, life is not a competition, guys. Relax, chill out, take a break. And I think I also missed the word speaking about this when you spoke earlier, that, support systems are very, very important, and taking help is not something anybody should shy from. Taking help from your family, taking help from your husband, wife, friends, also seeking professional help, because I mean, it's okay to seek professional help also, guys. This is for everybody watching, and everybody in the audience. It does not mean you're weak. It just means that you want to become you just want to let out everything, so you are more stronger than you walked in when you were, I think. And that's what the entire journey of mental health help is about. So thank you, Namrata, for bringing that out for us. Going to Nupur. Nupur, what would your message be for your fellow first responders?
Um, I would I would really say that when we're taught to reflect, to practice reflective listening, it's first that you listen to yourself. It's equally important that what you're giving out to others is something that you're giving to yourself. And really listening to your mind, body, and soul is only when you can be an empath. And I am agreeing to everything that you'll have put together. because I'm an empath myself, and we do get overwhelmed. So we also have our bouts of self doubts, and we do question self love. And in those times, it's important to have that support group too. So do not hesitate. Is what I want to tell the first responders, that even therapists have their own therapists. So, do not hesitate to really seek. And there are people who are going to help you out. You've got a family now, so of course it's just a call away and a message away. And I just want to tell them that to remember that there is nothing great in life than you being your best self. It's only when you love yourself is when you can love others. And so it's very important that you first become a self healer, a self cultivator, and then you can aid to your needs and then tend to others. So yeah, that's. I just want to say that.
Thank you so much, Nupur, for bringing out the aspect that now we're all a family. We're all a family of mental health warriors. We're all a family of emotional well-being. We're all a family, of a support system in itself. And we do see that every day, at any given point in time, any first responder who needs help, we do see so many of you reaching out to them. The entire journey with the first response program is listening to yourselves, being with yourselves, and then being there for others. And you guys have been a very, very, very brilliant example of this. So, once again, I want to thank you guys for being brilliant first responders, for doing whatever you do in your personal, professional capacities to the best of your ability, while also understanding that yourself, I mean, I am important, okay? And understanding that the I is not being selfish, but it's just about, how I can take care of myself to go ahead and take care of others. On that note, I would once again like to thank each one of you who's joined us here today, also the audience that is watching this. We hope, we pray, we send light to each one of you to be able to take care of yourselves, because that is very important. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye. Have a great day.